Hello everyone, welcome back to the Film Feast. My name is Sam Donchis and I am your host, and I am just so excited because I am finally here for the Marvel episode of Ketchup Edition Extravaganza. As you may know, with Ketchup Edition, this is all information that you are very well versed in at this point, especially because it's Marvel news. And unless you've been living under a very heavy boulder in a very dark hole, you already know this news. But this is my vlog on my channel, and if you're already this far into the video, you are indulging me, and I appreciate that a lot. And in this episode, we are going to look at Marvel's grand scheme, for the foreseeable future at least. Marvel has laid out a very exciting timeline of movies, and I'm going to be talking about each one of these movies in little tidbits. Gonna present the information that is already known about it, my own personal feelings about it, and some possible rumors may get in there as well. And I have 2.5 pages of notes, so let's get started. First, I'm just going to run down the timeline, list every single movie and its release date. This year, Marvel has 2 films still yet to come out. There is Avengers Age of Ultron on May 1st, 2015. We're on the cusp of it. It's right there in front of us. Can't wait to see it. And then on July 17th, 2015 is Ant-Man. That will close out Phase 2 of Marvel's Cinematic Universe, and Captain America will be coming in 2016 to kick off Phase 3 with Captain America Civil War on May 6, 2016. Closing out Marvel's slate for that year is Doctor Strange coming out on November 6, 2016. In 2017, Marvel will, for the first time, release 3 films in 1 year. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 will be the first film of that year, coming out May 5th, 2017. And then there's another Spider-Man reboot planned for July 28th, 2017. That one I will get into a little bit later. And finally, on November 3rd, 2017 is Thor Ragnarok. In 2018, Marvel is going for the triple header again, starting on May 4th, 2018 with Avengers Infinity War Part 1. Black Panther will be coming out on July 6th, 2018. And Captain Marvel is closing out the year on November 2nd, 2018. Avengers Infinity War Part 2 will be coming out on May 3rd, 2019, and we will have Inhumans on July 12th, 2019. Yes! I'm done with the episode now, right? I can go to sleep? No? I have to talk about all these movies? Fuck. So let's get into the nitty gritty here and talk about all these movies individually. Avengers Age of Ultron, I feel like I don't even have to say anything about it. It's pretty much already here. The premiere has happened, the press screening, the press junket. By the time this video comes out, the people in the United Kingdom will have it in theaters. I already have my tickets. It's on Dr. Pepper cans, it's on Doritos bags, it's on fucking Pepto-Bismol bottles. Really, what else do I have to say? Other than I'm excited. But of course I'm excited. It's a new Avengers film. Oh yeah, and it has to be mentioned that this will be Joss Whedon's last Marvel movie for some time. We don't know if he will ever return to the world of Marvel, and I think that's fine. I like Whedon as a director, independent of these movies, and I'm really excited to see what he does next. Moving down the line to Ant-Man, I know I haven't talked about this movie very much. We've had 2 trailers at this point. The first trailer really didn't grab me at all. I thought it had some cool effects, but other than that, it just wasn't worth talking about. But the second trailer built up some really cool set pieces, really awesome action sequences that'll be great to see on the big screen, especially with such a small hero. And in a way, I feel like, Marvel is kind of entering new territory with how they're telling these stories, but at the same time, it still feels so familiar. And I'm not saying that in a complimentary way, this whole concept of, you have this amazing technology and I'm going to use it against you. That villainous storyline feels so commonplace to me, and I'm not sure if I'm willing to embrace it, even though it is coming from Marvel, and Corey Stoll, whose acting talents I appreciate very much. Director Peyton Reed and some of the actors from the film discuss the use of improv on set, and while you have an actor who is very knowledgeable of that kind of comedy like Paul Rudd, it's still not something that intrigues me very much. Even with the 2 trailers, I just can't find myself caring all that much about Ant-Man. I'm gonna try, and I'm definitely gonna see it, but past that, it's just whatever for me. But next year we are getting 2 movies from Marvel that I'm very excited about, the first of which being Captain America Civil War. This was obviously a huge announcement. Civil War is a major storyline in Marvel Comics history, and even before the title was announced, Robert Downey Jr. joined the cast, so everyone pretty much knew at that point that it was going to be Civil War. If you know that storyline, you obviously know that Captain America and Iron Man are at odds, but in this movie version of the story, we're we're also going to see Black Widow, Hawkeye, as well as the first on-screen appearances from Black Panther and Spider-Man. Although it is possible for Black Panther to make his way into Avengers Age of Ultron. If you've seen it, please don't tell me. I don't want to know. No one in the comments section wants to know. Just shut up! Joining the cast is Daniel Bruhl, playing Baron Zemo. And if you know anything about that character, you know where some of his storylines may or may not tread, but I will not mention that in this episode for the purpose of being anti-spoilers. Captain America Civil War will also see the return of Anthony Mackie, Frank Grillo, and Sebastian Stan. So it's going to be a big cast and an even bigger movie, and the only two guys I can imagine to handle all that are Joe and Anthony Russo, the guys who directed Captain America the Winter Soldier. I feel like they really proved themselves on that film, and I'm very excited to see what they do with so much talent and so many great stories to tell. Like I said before, Captain America Civil War will be coming out on May 6, 2016. This is the movie that unseated Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, so you know Marvel ain't fucking around. In November of 2016, Marvel will get into a whole new dimension with Doctor Strange. Right before Marvel took the stage at Comic-Con last year, there was word that Joaquin Phoenix would play Doctor Strange. They got on stage, showed a bunch of Avengers stuff, no Doctor Strange. That was it. There was just nothing. As the weeks progressed, we started getting word that Joaquin Phoenix was a little hesitant with signing a multi-picture deal with Marvel. He doesn't vibe that way, and that's fine, really. I actually respect Joaquin Phoenix more because he decided not to sign with Marvel. Instead, they chose Benedict Cumberbatch to play Doctor Strange. Now, I love Benedict Cumberbatch, but admittedly, he kind of feels like a silver medal because look at this concept art showing what Joaquin Phoenix would have looked like as Doctor Strange. That right there is perfection. And after I saw that image, I was like, no, I don't want anyone else playing him. But then Benedict Cumberbatch was announced, and I was like, okay, fine. Doctor Strange will be directed by Scott Derrickson, who also directed The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Sinister, last year's Deliver Us from Evil, and the meh-tastic remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still. And I'm not trying to say Scott Derrickson is a bad director, just in my mind, I don't know. I've only ever seen The Day the Earth Stood Still. If you know anything about Emily Rose or Sinister or Deliver Us from Evil, you have better judgment than I do. The guy who wrote the original script for Prometheus, John Spites, will be writing Doctor Strange. Very intrigued by his first draft of that. It was very Alien-esque storytelling, but they had to bring Damon Lindelof in to do whatever Damon Lindelof does with the script. Still, I think John Spites is going to write a damn good Doctor Strange movie. Other than that, the only other thing we know about Doctor Strange is 12 Years a Slave's Chiwetel Ejiofor is circling a role. I'm mostly excited for Doctor Strange because I feel like for the very first time, Marvel is treading new territory. And a lot of people say that they did that with Thor and then again with Guardians of the Galaxy, but that all still felt so superhero-esque. Doctor Strange doesn't come off to me as a superhero. He's just a scientist / sorcerer who is doing awesome stuff with both of those things. But moving on, I have to get to what many people will consider to be their most anticipated Marvel movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Not much is known about the movie at this point. James Gunn will definitely return to direct, the main cast is definitely returning, and James Gunn has said that this is a movie about fathers in all of their facets. It's a dad movie. So May 5th, 2017 is Take Your Dad to the Movies Day. You heard it here first on the Film Feast. Dads are gonna love Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Okay, this is the one that I'm most excited about. The new Spider-Man movie, the new Spider-Man reboot, the Sony-Marvel partnership, kind of, although not really. Basically, a press release came out saying Marvel and Sony are teaming together to bring Spider-Man back again. They're putting him in Captain America Civil War and they're giving him his own movie under Marvel. It's kind of hard to explain. I very strongly hoped that it was going to happen eventually, and now it finally has. Sony, while they didn't just straight up give Spider-Man over, they opened the floodgates just a little bit. And Marvel came punching right through saying, we're gonna take Spider-Man, we're gonna bring him home. You've got Kevin Feige on as an executive producer. He's going to basically bring the cavalry with him. The whole creative team are gonna just fix the Spider-Man franchise. Finally. I know some of you will say that Spider-Man doesn't really need fixing, but man, after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'm willing to let anything happen. As long as Kevin Feige is involved in some way, I'm willing to let it happen. Kevin Feige has already announced that they're trying to cast younger actors to play Peter Parker again. Yes, it's going to be Peter Parker. I know a lot of you guys rallying for Miles Morales. It's just not going to happen yet. But if Marvel is gung-ho about getting Peter Parker right, that's all I care about. Okay, real quick, I almost forgot the most important part of this section of the video. Drew Goddard is in talks to write and direct this Spider-Man reboot. That's a big deal. Ever since this story was reported at the beginning of March, it's basically just been a glorified rumor, but there is some validity to it, because Deadline reported that Drew Goddard was taking a meeting with Marvel and Sony. Deadline, in my experience, has been pretty reliable in the past, so I do think that this meeting actually happened. That Drew Goddard, despite his reps saying that it didn't happen, went into this meeting and discussed the terms of writing and directing a Spider-Man reboot. Although the fact that we haven't heard anything since early March is a little discouraging to me, but I still have hope that Drew Goddard is going to at least have some hand in this new Spider-Man, this new Marvel Spider-Man. Drew Goddard, if you didn't already know, directed Cabin in the Woods. He co-wrote that with Joss Whedon. He also wrote some of the later episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and most recently created the Marvel Daredevil show for Netflix. He wrote the first couple of episodes for that series and was supposed to direct the first 1 or 2 episodes, but ended up going over to Sony and signed on to direct the Sinister Six movie. But is that really coming together? I don't know anymore. And now, back to the regular main episode. Marvel's last film in 2017 will be Thor Ragnarok. No information about it really just yet, except for 2 writers, Craig Kyle, Christopher Yost. You can look them up on IMDb or Wikipedia or whatever. I wish I had more information to give to you guys. Obviously, Chris Hemsworth is coming back, and Tom Hiddleston as Loki will most likely return. I don't know anything about Natalie Portman or any of that just yet, but stay tuned for the Film Feast. I'll have more. Black Panther will be Marvel's next feature after that. So far, not much is known, but there is a lot to love. Namely, Chadwick Boseman in the title role as Black Panther. Love that guy. He's Jackie Robinson, he's James Brown, and he's Black Panther. But so far, no writers have been lined up, no co-stars have been announced, and no directors are in any talks of any kind. But I'm sure Marvel has a short list. I'm sure they're interested in some people. And no matter how you look at it, Black Panther is going to be a major inclusion in the cinematic universe. After Black Panther, we're getting Captain Marvel, which will be Marvel's first female-led superhero movie. Not much is known about this title either, other than Carol Danvers will be the alter ego of Captain Marvel, and there are 2 writers currently in negotiations to pen this script, who I am very intrigued by. We've got Nicole Perlman, who co-wrote Guardians of the Galaxy, and Meg Lufauve, who co-wrote Inside Out for Pixar. So there is a lot of talent behind this movie. Marvel has already selected their Captain Marvel, although obviously they haven't introduced her yet. They apparently shot something for Avengers Age of Ultron, but ultimately they decided that's not how we want to introduce this character. Before I finish things off with the Infinity War news, I want to talk about Inhumans, which is, again, another title we don't know much about. The storyline was launched on television's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so if you watch that show, you probably know a little bit about the Inhumans storyline that they're building up. How that will cross over into the cinematic realm, I'm not quite sure yet. I have a lot of hopes and a lot of wishes and some ideas, but really, nothing's known until the movie frickin' comes out. But I'm just excited to know that they're working with that property. And finally, we've got Avengers Infinity War Parts 1 and 2, which will come out 1 year from one another and will be directed by Joe and Anthony Russo. That's right, the Captain America directors are coming back to direct the Avengers. Unfortunately, Joss Whedon has just kind of run out of steam with Marvel, and again, that's okay. I'm actually very excited to see what Joe and Anthony Russo will do. Again, with all that talent, all those awesome stories, they're going to be the ones to helm that, and I really do think they've got the stuff. And returning to team up with the Russo brothers are the guys who wrote Captain America the Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, and television's Agent Carter, Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. That's it for the official stuff. I'm all done. But real quick, I want to talk about the standalone Hulk movies. Why aren't they making any more standalone Hulk movies? I will tell you. Mark Ruffalo recently said in an interview that Universal still has the distribution rights to standalone Hulk movies. That's the little roadblock. He says that it's not necessarily an insurmountable roadblock. Definitely, if Disney and Marvel want to try hard enough to get a standalone Hulk movie made, they don't have to try very hard. They'll probably just wave some dollars in Universal's direction, and Universal will be like, yes, here, make it happen. I really am hoping that Marvel pulls the trigger on that and announces a standalone Hulk movie soon, because that is a character who needs to be explored outside of Avengers movies. That's just how it is. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Film Feast. It's one that I have been waiting to make for months now. Next episode is all going to be about DC's upcoming slate. Not nearly as excited to talk about those movies as I am these, but I'll get through it because I love movies. Chris Pratt plays Owen, a member of the on-site behavioral science team, and he's been studying the behavior of the velociraptors. I was kind of worried about this plot point at first because I just imagined, the people who work with the dolphins at SeaWorld. He was basically going to be doing that, just a showmanship kind of person. But no, his role is a lot more kind of behind the scenes. Also behind the scenes is Bryce Dallas Howard's character, Claire. And clearly she is some sort of lead scientist who is working on this hybrid dinosaur project. While a lot of people hate Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, much like Neil Blomkamp, a lot of others kind of just say, why don't they just progress onward from what some may consider to be mistakes of previous films, but still, they are the films. They are in there, and you can't just undo these movies. They're done. While Blomkamp has cemented the fact that he is a fan of the first two films, he's backtracked a little bit with his words, saying that he doesn't want to necessarily undo Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, he just wants to do right by Alien and Aliens.